Right, got some big fight news today. And a lot of new fights, a lot of good fights, great matchups. Let's get straight into it. We'll start off with Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Great matchup. Um, I do think JDM takes this one. I think he can knock him out. You know, I know a lot of people will be talking about JDM's last fight with Gilbert, and he got taken down and this, that, blah, blah. He had a broken arm that entire fight, and he still managed to defend takedowns, and he still managed to knock out Gilbert. I think he can beat Muhammad, man. I think Muhammad is good. It's going to be a hard matchup, but I think JDM takes this. You know, I think Leon. I know a lot of people be like, oh, look at Muhammad's last matchup, blah blah blah. Leon looked terrible in that fight. He gave up in that fight. He just let it happen. He looked terrible, man. That's probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And I'm not taking anything away from Muhammad. He was really good that night, but JDM ain't no Leon Edwards. I think gets this done, gets this by KO. But great matchup. I think this is a better matchup than the Shavkat. I'd much rather have saw this fight than the Shavkat one. But I think Shavkat's out because of an injury. That's the only reason this fight makes sense. But yeah, great matchup. Alright, this is Leon's new fight because he was supposed to fight JDM. That's obviously been cancelled. And they've gave him Sean Brady instead. This is a much better matchup for Leon. Far more winnable fight. I think JDM would have knocked out, would have beaten Leon. But yeah, this is a way better matchup. This is a matchup someone like Leon needs. Give him a win, get him back in the title. Title. Obviously, he'd need a win after this, to get another title shot. But get him back in that arena. And this is a good. What's the word? Jump up for Sean Brady. This is a good jump up for Sean Brady. A lot higher competition than his previous fights. Yeah, I think Leon takes this. So Sean Brady's not that good. He was getting pieced up by Gilbert in his last fight at times. I thought that fight was a lot closer than people made it out to be. Gilbert rocked him a couple of times, and Gilbert looked terrible in that fight. Sean Brady was doing well on the ground. He was getting, his striking was looking good, but he was still getting pieced up at times. Still getting rocked by Gilbert, that was genuinely Gilbert's worst performance I've ever seen. Even out of all of his losses, this was a worst performance because he just didn't look like he was in it. But yeah, I think Leon takes this one. I think no, don't like to say I don't think he's gonna roll through him. It'll be a little bit tough, but I think Leon get the decision. Leon ain't a finish type of guy. He's a decision warrior. Yeah, Leon's gonna get this one. Shevchenko versus Fiorot. I don't really care about this fight, to be honest with you. I think the only women's fight that Dana could make right now that would genuinely intrigue me would be Shevchenko versus Weili, and that ain't gonna happen for a while. I hope to God they make that fight. There's literally no other fights that even that are gonna make me watch them. Weili's the only a women's fight that kind of intrigues me. But like I said, make Shevchenko versus Weili after this fight. Yeah. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Great matchup, phenomenal matchup. I think everybody wanted to see this fight. There was tons of leaks saying, Pimblett versus Chandler's next. Then Paddy came out and denied it. But now it's obviously confirmed. Yeah, I love this matchup. This is probably one of the most, in my opinion, well, to me, this is the fight I want to see the most in the lightweight division. I want to see Paddy fight in a top 10. Chandler was in the top 5, so this is a tough fight for Paddy, but I think Paddy wins this. I don't think Chandler's that good. Looking at his last two fights, he got dominated by Charles. Had his moment in the last round, whatever, illegal back of the head shots. And before that, he got choked out by Dustin Poirier. In that fight, he was again doing illegal things. Yeah, man. I think Paddy takes it. I think Paddy chokes him out. And people don't understand, Paddy's a big guy. Chandler ain't gonna have some like crazy. People look at Chandler like he's some humongous T-Rex lightweight. He's not that big. He maybe he is quite. I won't lie, he's big, right? But Paddy's big too, man. Paddy's human. Like, have you seen him when he's out of camp? He's massive. I thought that's fat, I guess. But even when I saw that video of Chandler and Paddy talking to each other, Paddy looked humongous. He's a big lad. I think Paddy chokes him out. Unless Chandler can get a rock and knock him out. But Paddy seems to have a bit of a chin on him. I'm not gonna lie. I think yeah. Anyways, I think Paddy gets a submission. Paddy's got unbelievable ground game, and going back to Dustin Poirier's fight with Chandler, Dustin ain't as good as Paddy on the ground. He ain't anywhere near as good as Paddy. Is Dustin a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Yes. Does he have good ground game? Yes. But Paddy's ground game is it's phenomenal. He's coming off that submission over Bobby Green. Before that, jeez, I forgot. I think it was Tony Ferguson before that. But this is gonna be a good one. I don't know if I said. I think I said this was gonna be a walk. This isn't gonna be a walk in the park for Bimlet. Right, I won't lie. But I think he'll get the submission, and I do think Chandler's overrated. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. This is a better fight for Diego than the Topuria one. I thought if he fought Topuria, I thought Topuria was gonna KO him. Maybe it's not KO him, but maybe dominate him and get that win. But Volkanovski though, man, Volk's fighting back-to-back power punches. Topuria definitely hits harder than Lopes, but Lopes hits hard, man. I mean, look, he's been except for the Dan Ige fight, he was messed up in that fight, screwed over several times. Apart from that one, he's literally been knocking everybody out or rocking everybody. Brian Ortega, he managed to KO Brian Ortega and then wake him up with the left hook. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But Diego, man, he hits hard and he's good. He's very well rounded. Only problem I see in this is maybe his cardio. I think if Volk can fight right, go in there with a good game plan, he could win and basically just gas out Lopes and then just piece him up. But in his last fight, Lopes' cardio didn't look that bad. It didn't. But yeah, like I said, he does seem to slow down a bit as the fight goes on. But I do think he KOs Volk, probably the early rounds. But great matchup. You never know. Volk's at featherweight. Volk's kryptonite might just be Ilia Topuria. Volk might go out there and look like the champion we saw a couple of years ago. But yeah, great fight, great matchup. I'm excited for that. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. What's his second name again? Oh, jeez, I forgot his name. Pitbull. That's his name. One of the best Bellator fighters. He's been amazing in that organization for a very long time. But he's coming off of a couple of losses. In his last fights, he's definitely not in his prime no more. This is a late transition to the UFC. Realistically, I don't see a way Pitbull can win this. Realistically, Yair should knock him out. But we know what Yair is like. He's a fumble machine. I mean, his fight with Brian Ortega, he manages to dominate Brian in the first round, almost knock him out, almost finish him, and then somehow loses by submission. I could see Yair doing the same thing again, dominating this, and then just getting clipped. you know. Also, Yair doesn't have the best cardio. But this will be a pretty decent fight. I'm excited, but like I said, I think Yair takes this one, probably by KO. But you never know. This might be like a Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler wasn't in his prime when he came to the UFC, and he comes in and knocks a top contender in Dan Hooker. So this might be the same thing. But we'll have to wait and see. Ilia Topuria, he has officially gone up. He's fighting. We don't know yet, but I think it's going to be Islam Makhachev. Dana's been saying, he doesn't. We know he doesn't like Arman Tsarukyan, and he's denied Arman's title shot. So I either see Ilia Topuria fights like a Charles Oliveira, maybe he's an Arman for the number one contender, or they just straight up give Topuria the title shot, which is what I think will happen. I think that's best thing to do. Just give Topuria the title shot. That's a great matchup. That's the fight we all want to see. Other than the Arman fight, there's not many fights that Makhachev can have that are going to be tough. Maybe it's a Charles Oliveira rematch, but there's not many fights in the division. He's beaten a lot of them, and he'll beat a Gaethje. He'll probably beat a Hooker again. But I think Topuria can knock him out. I really do think Topuria can knock him out. Yeah, great matchup. But again, I don't know. This hasn't been confirmed. We know he's moving up. We know he's vacated the belt, but it hasn't been confirmed who he's fighting. But most likely it will be Islam. I don't see why they'd give him a number one contender. I've seen people saying Dustin Poirier. Come on, man, you're really gonna give him a Dustin? Why would Dustin Poirier deserve a number one contender? Like, if Dustin beats Ilia, is he gonna get a title shot again? That's just stupid, man. Come on, give him a title shot. Finally, we got Carlos Pratas versus Jeff Neal. Great matchup. I think I said this before. After Carlos's last fight, this would be the next best matchup for him. This is a tough one, man, but I'm gonna go with Carlos. Jeff Neal's tough, man. He's very tough. Great power, great boxing. He's a dangerous fighter. Cardio lacks in that area a bit, and he does seem to struggle with the lankier opponents, like we saw in his Ian Gary fight. And I think Carlos Pratis he's got a similar. Actually, he doesn't really have a similar build to Ian Gary. He's longer. Ian Gary's got like T-Rex arms. I think he's got 74-inch reach. Carlos Pratis has got, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a 78-inch reach. Carlos is long, and he's a phenomenal striker, a better striker than Ian Gary, and he's also got that pop in his punches that Ian doesn't have. I think Carlos is going to get this by KO. I don't think have we seen Jeff Neal get knocked out bad before? I think Kevin Holland did it back in the day. I know they fought back in the day. I think Kevin Holland knocked him out then, but I don't think in the UFC I don't think we've seen Jeff Neal get KO'd in the UFC yet. But I think Pranos will get that done. Carlos, jeez. But yeah, great matchup. Yeah, man. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. Comment if you disagree, agree anything with anything. Let me know what you think about these matchups. Do you agree with me or not? But hope you enjoyed, and like and sub.